Welcome to the Fantasy Authority Player Throwdown. I'm Jay Stu. I'm here with Chris Lang with the Fantasy Authority. If you guys like this video or anything we put down in the past, make sure you like, subscribe. Goes a long way for us. And Chris, why don't you go ahead and tell them what we're going to do today?
All right. As Jay Stu said, CJ Lang here. I can be found at Clubber_Lang83 at Twitter. I am going to give you the Engram side of this Engram versus Darren Waller tight end throwdown. So getting back to the particulars, 2017 NFL draft, and I'm sure that you remember, Maya, that was a freaking loaded tight end draft. You had O.J. Howard, you had Njoku, you had Gerald Everett, you had a guy named George Kittle, Jonnu, Jarwin, who's everybody breakout tight end this year. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. Anyway. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this to you or not, being a Michigan guy, but Jake Butt, was he a tight end?
He was a tight end for 2017, yeah. But let's may his knees rest in peace. Poor guy.
He and so in his rookie year, Evan Engram had 115 targets, 64 catches, 772 yards, 6 touchdowns. #Eli. But he did end up as the tight end 6, and he was on the 2017 All-Rookie team. So the next 2 years, a little bit marred by injury, should we say. In 2018, he only played 11 games. He injured his MCL in his foot. Yet he still had 45 catches, 577 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So if you take those numbers and consider him playing an entire 16-game season, keeping it on that average, he ends up as the tight end 5 in 2018. So then move on to last season, 2019. Once again, he was injured. He only played 8 games due to being on the IR for his foot. Yet he still had 44 catches, 467 yards, 3 touchdowns. And with that pace, he would have ended up last year as the tight end 4. He turns 25.
24, yeah.
He's 24. Okay, 25 September 2nd.
We were way off.
Yeah, but still a first-round guy, came out of Ole Miss. Currently for rankings on 4for4 ADP, he's overall 64, tight end 6. So
in the 6th round, I think.
Yeah, so I'm still thinking, but if you listen to just some of his accolades from his rookie season in Giants franchise, he had the most touchdowns in a season by a rookie tight end. He had the most receiving yards and a touchdown by a rookie tight end, most consecutive games with a touchdown, most consecutive games with 55 receiving yards and a touchdown. He had most receptions by a rookie tight end in the first 8 games of a season. Second Giants tight end ever with 45 receptions in first 2 seasons, joining Jeremy Shock, and had the first Giants tight end ever with 575 receiving yards in his first 2 seasons. And he even broke some NFL records where he's had the most games with 4 receptions by a rookie tight end, tying Keith Jackson. And he was the first NFC rookie tight end since 1970 with 400 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns through the first 8 games of the year. His rookie year, and we all know rookie tight ends do not usually hit at all. But he had a really decent season, ending up as the tight end 6 as a rookie on a pretty crappy Giants team. That's pretty good. And then, like I said, though, 2 years, and I know you're going to come at me with the injuries, and you absolutely should, because if I was on the opposite side of this, I'd be talking shit about his injuries as well. But like I said, he's still.
You don't know me. You don't know what I'm coming with.
Yeah, he's still something. And now, if you look at the Giants roster, with Daniel Jones, obviously, I personally think a giant upgrade from Eli. Eli in the early 2000s is probably a lot different, but Daniel Jones seems like he's good. He's got a little bit of that scramble to him, but I think in the long run he'll end up being more of a pocket passer. But now he's got somebody other than Slayton to throw to. Golden Tate is back and Slayton's there, who had a great rookie season. Engram hopefully healthy. You got Saquon still. So there's my positive on Engram, and we'll see what you got.
A lot of good stats in there. I wasn't expecting to quote stuff from 1970 or whatnot, but
hey, fact-based opinions. That's what we do here.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, let me get to Waller, okay? Or as he's known in several leagues I'm in, the Dry Waller. Okay, it's a
Ah,
good name. 27 years old, out of Georgia Tech, 6th-round pick by the Ravens, drafted as a wide receiver, but a real big body, 6'6", 255 pounds. So he has that typical tight end mold. I think he put on weight to get to that position. He's currently going as the tight end 5 in ADP. He's going before Engram and right after Ertz. So he's right in that 4 to 6 range. He does good things for the Raiders. If you haven't seen last year, he was overall the tight end 3. That's better than Ingram's ever been, but we'll get to my my Engram slander shortly. But the Dry Waller had a great season: 117 targets, 90 receptions, 1,145 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So the touchdowns to be desired, but it's definitely something he can improve upon, and I think he will. Reasons why I think he's going to be great is because he's on the field the entire time. 900 snaps last year. That's 90% of the time he was on the field for offense. That means he's not just a gimmick tight end. He's lining up all over the place. They're using him all the time. They're using him as a blocker, and he does his job. He also has a good history if you take what Derek Carr does with tight ends in the last 3 odd years, right? 2018, you had Jared Cook. 101 targets, 68 receptions, 896 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Something I think is more the floor or the ceiling that Waller can get to this year. 2017 was also a Jared Cook year with 86 targets, 54 receptions, 688 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So not a great year, but if you look at those seasons, all of them are top 10 seasons for tight end. Derek Carr likes to throw the ball to his tight end. They added some weapons in Oakland. The black hole now has Henry Ruggs, who's got wheels. Not a volume guy that I think of, but I think that's actually going to be great for Darren Waller. He's going to open up the field. They'll probably have to double Ruggs on the outside, leaving the middle for Waller to operate against the linebacker and nickel corner. They also added Brian Edwards, a lot of Debbie people's favorite, and he's getting much-deserved hype in camp, looking real good. I think between him and Renfro, that's your starting lineup. Him, Renfro, Ruggs, and Waller. And then out of the backfield, they just need to get Josh Jacobs some targets. But if it takes away from the Waller volume that I'm looking at here, then it kind of ruins my argument. But, as a Josh Jacobs owner, I just throw the damn ball to Josh Jacobs every once in a while. My projections for Waller this year for 2020, I think he has less target volume because of the added weapons, but 110 targets, 85 receptions, 1,000 yards, and I think he can get up to 8 touchdowns this year, which would probably put him as a top 5 tight end yet again. 27 years old. I mean, I think Carr loves the tight end. He's just going to go nuts in that offense. And we both know Gruden, if he has his guys, he's going to use his guys. And the snap count's not going to go down. Where he's being drafted early in the 5th round of ADP. So some running backs that he's being drafted around, David Johnson, Singletary, Jonathan Taylor, Mark Ingram. Some of those are good running backs. Were those really like championship winners, right? Wide receivers in that range are Lockett, Woods, Sutton, and DK Metcalf. So I like the wide receivers in that range a little bit better than the running backs. But if you're talking getting your top 4 skill players, and none of them are going to be a quarterback for me. I'm punting quarterback. So if you go 3 RBs and a wide receiver, you're looking at getting Waller to solidify your starting lineup in the 5th round. Probably going to have to be early 5th unless he falls to the later 5th round. You're looking good there. But I'd probably rather have a top 5 tight end in that region than have one of these wide receiver 2s that I can get in the 7th or even 8th round when you're looking at guys like, Calvin Ridley or some of these rookies or something like that, somebody that can contribute something. Waller kind of checks all the boxes for me. He's big. He plays a ton snaps. He's got a quarterback that loves to throw to him, and he's got a coach that's going to utilize him. So that's my Waller hype. I'm going to go ahead and let you tear him down.
No, that was a lot of great information and a lot of stuff that I truly did not know about Waller. You said you think he's going to get 1,000 yards this year?
I do, yeah.
You're out of fucking control right now. There's absolutely no way that he's going to come even close to that. You said he's going to be tight end 5, dude. I've got him at like tight end 20 this year.
What? 20?
You got Foster Moreau last year, who's nobody even heard of, had 5 touchdowns as a rookie. They signed Witten.
Why did they sign Witten? I'm not supposed to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Why did they sign Witten if Waller's this amazing guy? And he did have a great season last year. Waller did, but why when you got a Moreau, now you're bringing a Witten, and then you talking about Ruggs, Edwards, Lynn Bowden Jr., and they're going to get Josh Jacobs more involved. You can kiss those 117 targets last year goodbye. He's done. He's absolutely – I mean, I'm not going to say he's done, but there's no way that he finishes top 10 tight ends. No way.
All right, is that all you got for the Waller? Because I cannot wait to get to the freestyle part of this agenda.
I'm almost done. You also said some of the wide receivers being drafted around him, or Robbie loves to call Bobby Trees. I absolutely hate that nickname, by the way. Cortland Sutton, who's about to be shot off to the moon. And then same thing with DK. What freaking fantasy psycho is taking 27, 28-year-old Darren Waller over those 3 wide receivers? That's insane. But I'll leave the floor to you.
All right, before I get to why I would take Waller over those, I'm just going to go ahead and go after your boy, Engram, which this is weird because I own 0 shares of Waller in any dynasty league I'm in, and I have like 5 shares of Engram. I'm a big Engram guy. But in every trade response I get that I've ever sent out, I'm going to go ahead and list what everybody says here. All right, you mentioned the injury history. There's really nowhere else to attack Engram from because even in his splits, he's good, right? He played 6 games with Jones this year, and he still averaged right around the same amount of points that he did with Eli for his career. He never had any other QB besides Jones or Eli in his entire career. In 28 games with Eli, right around 12 points per game, and 6 games with Jones, right around 12 points. I can't argue with the guy's production. He is a stud, but the problem is he's never on the field, ever. The dude has, the parentheses with the injury right in there. It's either I, O. It's one of those two. Sometimes there's a P, but a lot of times it's Q, O, or I next to his name because he doesn't play. And it's been since the end of his rookie year when he got hurt with the foot injuries because that's his big thing. Foot injuries are not good for football players. 15 games in 2017. Great rookie year for a tight end. It was amazing. 2018, 11 games. Finishes the tight end 13. And like you said, he would have been top 5 if you extrapolated that for the whole season. But sorry, yet another injury. 2019, guess what? Another foot injury. 8 games. Dude was on pace to have a crazy good season for a tight end, whether it was with Eli or Jones. 8 games. That's it. I would rather take Waller all day because I'm going to get 16 games out of him when he's playing 90 snaps. Engram, on the other hand, he only played 75 to 80% of his snaps on a game-by-game basis. He's a gimmick guy. He's not going to be out there with his hand in the dirt going to be a block guy when Barkley's on there.
A gimmick guy.
So when he's out there, people know what they're going to game plan for. It's like, oh, Ingram's coming. They got nobody else to throw to. Sure, Sterling Shepard's okay. Darius Slayton's all right. But who else are they going to throw to besides him or Barkley? No one. Oh, here comes a double team for Engram. Sorry, Mr. Engram. There's your next injury. You're out for the year. My argument's an easy win. So, I mean, you bring up great points for Waller, but I say we go all out. We are in the freestyle thing. You brought up tight end 20, not even going to be worth that. Are you kidding me? A guy that plays 90% of his snaps is going to get targets if he plays tight end.
He's not.
Especially you think what? Foster Moreau is going to be his tight end from now on? No.
Who did they have to throw to last year?
Tyrell Williams, Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah,
Darren Waller.
We'll go with Ty Williams. Whatever, Ty Williams. And then we got 29-year-old, 30-year-old rookie Hunter Renfrow, he's decent in the slot, but I mean he's not Julian Edelman.
How many targets do you think Ruggs?
They had nobody to throw to last year.
Deshaun Jackson type. How many targets do you think he's gonna get?
Who? Renfrow?
Henry Ruggs.
Ruggs?
We're gonna call him the flanker. How many targets do you think the flanker gets?
Yeah, he's gonna be like Deshaun Jackson though. I don't know. Maybe
he's gonna get 10 one game. He's gonna get 2 the next. It's gonna be. It's nothing consistent. All right, now your boy Brian Edwards. I know everybody loves him. He's gonna be amazing. He's gonna be Mike Evans, Odell Beckham year 1. I don't agree. I think he's going to be good, but he's not going to be Devontae Adams year 1. 100 targets for a rookie would be amazing. And I'll give you that he gets 100 targets this year. But I'm not even sold that he gets 100 targets with Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller and possibly the third down backs, whoever they're using out of Oakland, besides Josh Jacobs, for fuck's sake. I don't know why they do it, but they do. So I'll give you 100 targets for Brian Edwards, and I'll give you 80 for Ruggs, which I think is – that's high. They're going to throw the ball 550 times this year. Even if they run the ball well, it's going to be 500. So 100 targets is easy for Darren Waller. And when it got Derek Carr, who's been pretty good, not great, he loves his tight end. Look at the last 3 years. Cook, Waller. Tight end, top 5 tight end, top 10 tight end every year. It's not going to just magically go away because they added 2 rookies, which, by the way, there's been no OTAs. Training camp has been crazy COVID related. No preseason games to see how these guys actually play against corners that aren't on their own team. These rookies might certainly get the starts, but it doesn't mean they're going to come out there and light balls off. Like, Darren Waller's done it. They got a good feel. I can guarantee you for the 6 weeks, Darren Waller leads that team in receiving targets and receptions.
I feel a nuts on the table bet coming. Where's our TFA nut? Robbie? We need a nuts on the table bet here. So let me ask you this about obviously I think both of us realize that history plays a lot into a player. And I mentioned this today on Twitter to Zach Thomas about how Devontae Parker has completely ruined mediocre average tight end or wide receivers forever. Because now every single wide receiver that we talk about who's just okay is going to get 5 years. Oh,
he might be good
for the Devontae Parker breakout season. Oh, just wait.
Davis.
It's horrible, right? So you're talking about with Darren Waller from 2015 to 2018, he played in 22 games. And I know he had the, 2017 where he had the drug thing or whatever. He was out. But so for basically, a 4-year span, he had played 22 games, only had 18 catches, 179 yards. So, and even though we talked about Engram's injury history, first year, 64 catches, second year, 45 catches, last year, 44 catches. I mean, don't you think that kind of plays into it? I know that, Waller had this amazing breakout season last year, but like we said, they had nobody to throw to. They just added a bunch of people to throw to. And you think he's going to be able to sustain that sort of play after never having it ever before?
I think this is very much a John Gruden thing. When he gets his guys, he plays his guys. And ever since preseason of last year, Darren Waller was hyped up as being their tight end. And he's, again, just if you look at the hype in camp this year, again, he's beating coverage. He's getting open, and Derek Carr loves him. I don't think that's just going to go away because he doesn't have draft pedigree. Sure, he has a diamond in the rough history. He came out of nowhere. He was a wide receiver out of college, drafted by Baltimore, cut, sent to, was he cut or traded? Either way, it's not where he came from. It's where he is now, and where he is now is the starting tight end for the Oakland Raiders. And he's got to compete with 2 rookies, an old man Renfro in the slot, and a running back that should get a lot more targets than he does. I don't see the guy having a bad year. So one thing I do want to come back to is I said why I would take him over those wide receivers in that range. Our punting tight end, or you're doing a punt tight end strategy, I fully support going for guys like Hawkinson or Fant later instead of taking an Engram and Ertz or a Waller now. But if you want to some guys like getting their lineup filled, right? They're looking at those empty slots, and before they hit a bench player, they want to get that slot filled. When you're looking at guys like Lockett, Woods, and Sutton, and DK, those could be league winners. They're great wide receivers. But if you're punting QB and you go running back, right? Say you get Christian McCaffrey, great running back. You get Joe Mixon, and then your next wide receivers, an Odell Beckham. So say you got a great starting line. You got 2 running backs, a flex, and a wide receiver. You can put a tight end in that spot and take that instead of one of these wide receivers, because wide receiver is the deepest position it's ever been. Like right now, you can get crazy upside players in like the 10th and 11th round, and you can get really good wide receivers like Jarvis Landry, ever heard of him? In the 7th and 8th round, who are going to put up the same amount of points these guys on the board are, right? Tight ends, they're so hit and miss. You can easily get a Hawkinson or Fant, who are these sexy guys that just go out and they'll put up 5 points per game again. So that's the only reason I would take him over those wide receivers, even though I love all of them. And in Dynasty, I'm taking all of those wide receivers over Waller.
Yeah, obviously. But, I think the one thing, and everybody, to each his own, everybody has their own thing. But I think after I started playing Dynasty, I started getting away from the individual rankings. And now I'm just a tier guy. If they're in that tier, and that's the problem with tight end, even if it's, tight end premium is kind of like adding return yardage, like, 10 years ago when what was that dude's name from Josh Cribbs, when Josh Cribbs was winning me ships with all of his return yardage, and Devin Hester was doing his thing, and your boy Stephon Logan, thank you very much for some return yardages. But it's nowadays, regardless of the format, and well, I can't say that because I don't know shit about DFS, so I don't know how those guys do it. But redraft and dynasty, you've got Kittle, you've got Ertz, you've got Mark Andrews, and
I would take Waller over Ertz.
And you got Kelsey. You've got basically 4, and then everybody else. And then now you've got some guys who are coming up, which I'm hoping to have good seasons. Ian Thomas, hoping to have him. If you guys didn't see my Janu video on TFA, go to our YouTube channel and check that out. This could be the year of the tight end potentially. Yeah. Is OJ Howard needs to get traded because I could go on another.
From what's going on in camp, he's been tearing it up.
Yeah. And saying Fant, Fant could easily sneak up there. So I'm hanging in with Engram. I'll wait. Give me 12 games, dude. Just give me 12. Go do whatever. Do your Julio Jones foot injury.
Get that value back I need because I own them everywhere.
Stay healthy on the bye week if you can. Don't pull a Ben Roethlisberger and go on a motorcycle or whatever. I understand what you're saying about Waller. I just it's not there yet. I can't give it.
As great as these guys are you taking a tight end in the top 5 rounds? Because I'm personally not. I'm a big fan of punting 2 positions, getting my running backs and my wide receivers, and swinging for the fences in the late rounds on a QB and a tight end. See how it goes.
Yeah, especially if it's a super flex. I'm not even thinking about them.
Yeah.
I'm not even sorting my rankings for them anywhere. Probably 5-6 rounds.
Yeah, I'll start Jack Doyle all day.
Yeah, but I mean, and that's the thing is you don't know. Like even Mark Andrews, God, it's so tough to have somebody attached to Lamar, because the backfield's freaking crowded as shit. You got Hollywood and Boykin, and now added Duvernay. Duvernay is going to surprise people because he's just a monster that can play anywhere. So it's just tough. Is Mark Andrews going to have that same sort of year? You don't know. If 49ers, I mean, God, if they're just run the ball so much, Kittle eats a lot of that, Debo too. So, tight ends, you never know. You never know. Hopefully Engram can stay healthy and he can do his thing and he can continue on the path that he has to that, top 5 tight end range. But we'll see.
All right. Well, I think we got our points across. So
yes, go buy Engram. That's our point.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe below. Tune in for more throwdowns. We got some more in the pipeline coming up. And feel free to comment down below which tight end will be better in 2020.
It's Capital ENGRAM.
All right.